All right, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the We Don't Have a Name podcast. That's not really the name, but as you can see, I'm on the beach. Victory. It's victory week, so I had to come in here, relaxing and stuff like this. This is my co-host Dre. What's up, Dre?
What up, y'all?
Yeah, man. We'll just hop right into it. The Monday night game, man. Chaos in that Ravens Raiders game. One of the craziest games I've seen. Uh, I think it was the best game of the week. Competitively and stuff like that. Went to overtime. So thoughts on that game right there?
So we technically had two winners in that game because really both teams should have won that game. The Ravens had all the momentum the entire game, but they just took their foot off the gas. Don't know why, but it's just a thing that NFL teams do when they get a little bit too comfortable. So, and then here come the Raiders. They come all the way down the field, score a touchdown, tie the game. Ravens come back. They get a field goal, only like 34 seconds left, and they let the Raiders get all the way down and kick a field goal. Now we get into overtime, and it's just a mess. Turnover after turnover. Raiders can't score from the one. Like,
man, Raiders, they won that game like 4 times. The Raiders in overtime. I swear, I thought the game was over. Shout out to Willie Snead who can't catch still.
Wasn't he? Didn't he play for y'all? Wasn't he a Saint?
Don't remember that. I do not recall. I plead the fifth. Okay. I plead the fifth. So yeah, that never happened. But he still can't catch, obviously. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, the Raiders, they won that game 3 or 4 times. Everyone was the handshakes and stuff. Like after Brian Edwards allegedly scored, but he was down at the 1. I was like, they did not win this game. It's gonna be funny. The Raiders are gonna Raider. They're gonna somehow kick a field goal. Ravens are gonna get a chance, but they upped the ante. And they false started, then threw an interception. Ravens got the ball, fumbled. It was just absolute nonsense. Then the Raiders tried to kick a field goal on 2nd down and got to delay a game and then threw a touchdown next play. I mean, it still was a great game to me. I think it was everything you wanted in the game. It was comedy. It was good football. It was bad football. I mean, the crowd was going crazy. Fans back in the stadium. So, I mean, it was just a good game overall for me.
Bro, you know, Raider fans, like whether they win or lose, they're gonna go crazy. So they would much rather win to have a crazy good time than crazy bad time. But yeah, them being back in that stadium, they deserve that win with the way they played.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked.
I lost my fantasy game because they wanted to force the ball to Darren Waller like 19 times. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I was actually shocked that the fans were super loud because I thought Vegas was going to be kind of, it's Vegas, going to be a lot of tourists at the game. But Raiders fans showed up. They showed up at that game, and I was kind of shocked, to be honest, because it was loud. It was real loud in there. But we'll move on to the Chiefs-Browns. That was also another good game. Seems that the Chiefs, they won't be slowing down anytime soon. Browns look pretty good. They were without Odell. But other than that, I mean, their entire team was there for the most part. I'll go first on that. I thought Chiefs looked bad early on, but I'm just going to toss that up too. Limited time in the preseason, just getting their feet wet, things like that. But once they get going, man, it's like a freight train. Good luck stopping it. Kelsey, 2 touchdowns. Tyreek, 200 yards. Mahomes did what Mahomes does. But I think that's a lot of people were saying that's an AFC, championship preview. And if it is, that was a real good game. So
I have a little bit different reaction with the game. On the Chiefs side, to me, it's still the same old Chiefs. No running game. On pretty much the whole offense is Tyreek, Travis, and Mahomes. The problem is you just can't stop it. Like that's literally it. It's coming. You just can't do anything about it. And they might sprinkle somebody in here or there. We don't know if Robinson or Hardman, are going to step up this year and things like that. Who knows? But they got to find a running game at some point this year. The offensive line played okay, but not necessarily. They played better than the Super Bowl, but that's not really saying much. Defense is still a problem. They still come up in the clutch, but just from the beginning of the game, they were just, I don't know if it's because Honey Badger was missing, but the defense, it's going to be a bottom tier defense again, in my opinion. The Browns have a great team. They just have a bad quarterback because Mayfield, he managed the game the entire game. He put the ball where it needed to be. He missed, some key throws, but on the easy throws, the gimme throws that the defense gives you, he made all those throws and everything. Boom, it's time for him to be the quarterback, time for him to win the game. he missed Schwartz, he missed Njoku. And then I don't know if he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds or if he was just trying to make a hero play, whatever. But the interception, like it was just bad football, bad play.
The Browns they put themselves in this position because I tweeted a couple of years ago when they drafted Baker Mayfield, they just take Josh Allen with the first pick, but they wanted to be, cute and draft Baker Mayfield. They had Josh Allen on that team. They'll probably be Super Bowl favorites right now. So they went with Baker, and hey man, they're gonna have to live with it. Hopefully they can keep handing the ball off to Hunt and Chubb, and hopefully he doesn't have to throw.
That's what I was saying a lot. I was like, if the Browns literally 1st and 10 or 1st down, no matter what it is, run the ball. 2nd down, if it's 2nd and 10 or less, run the ball. If it's 3rd and 5 or less, run the ball. Like, do not put the ball in Baker's hand. Like, I'm telling you, it's not going to be well because it hasn't been well, for the majority, if it's time as a starting quarterback.
And the last full game we'll touch on will be the Cards and Titans, which I saw some people calling this a Super Bowl preview, like possibly a Super Bowl preview. Obviously, Titans added Julio, so people were hype about that with Derrick Henry, Brown, Julio, Tannehill. It's a nice little offense they got there. And then the Cardinals just signed. I mean, they went – obviously, already had Hopkins, got A.J. Green, J.J. Watt to add with Chandler Jones, Drake Murray. So, I mean, I understand why people, kind of mentioned that a sleeper Super Bowl pick. But, I mean, this game was just a blowout from the get-go. Kyler Murray was just doing whatever he wanted. Titans looked like – I don't even know what they look like. They didn't look like a Super Bowl team. They didn't even look like a playoff team. But in that division, I mean, they ain't really got to fight nothing. Is the thing.
I was a little disappointed in the game because I was hyped. I didn't necessarily think it was a Super Bowl preview, but I did think it was a good matchup between two, potential playoff teams, two teams that people do think can at least win 1 or 2 playoff games. Derrick Henry was a surprising disappointment. AJ Brown and Julio didn't really pick it up much until towards the end of the game, and that's still not saying much. Julio had that terrible penalty.
Hey, Julio's washed, by the way. I'm just gonna put it out there. Just gonna put it out there.
Game. I mean, Tannehill was trying, but it was just, I don't know. But shout out to Taylor Lewan, because to get beat like that. And to automatically go to social media and say, hey, thanks for humbling me and blah, blah, blah. That was his PR rep coming to his aid. Like, yo, man, you got to get ahead of this, like, quick.
Was he did that, or maybe that's just how he is, man, because I like it, though. If you get your ass beat, don't try to blame it on no one.
I do not remember when Hassan Reddick got 5 sacks for the Cardinals last year. I don't even remember who the Panthers tackle was, but he didn't go to social media and say, thanks for humbling me, Hassan. Like, no.
Maybe he didn't get humbled. Maybe he felt
when Michael Strahan got the sack record against us, against McNabb, years and years ago. I can't remember. I think it was like 2006, 2005, something like that. The thing was, our tackles didn't go to Twitter or social media and say, thanks for humbling us, Michael Strahan. No, you don't do that. You stay quiet, hush, because the media gonna talk about you anyway. Now you're just adding fuel to that fire. Like, I just think it was dumb on his part. But I mean, hey, kudos to him for at least trying to get ahead of it and trying to be a bigger man. But he got beat.
He was getting killed on social media. He had to. But yeah, the Titans look bad, but I still think they'll win the division because I mean, Colts, Jags, and Texans said it.
Colts offense didn't surprise me, but their defense, the way they performed against the Seahawks, that did surprise me.
Yeah, and now we can move on to these rookies. I think just about every rookie in the NFL had a decent week, for the opening week. Oh, we'll get to him. But I mean, from the quarterbacks, they were up and down, which you expect that from quarterbacks. Receivers, I think all the receivers looked great in the first round. Even Slater, the left tackle, did a great job on Chase Young. Who was your favorite rookie, this year? You can't say Devontae Smith from week 1. Can't say Devontae Smith, though. You can. It doesn't matter.
Everybody knows my bias is going to be towards Devontae Smith. So to pick another rookie, to be honest, I think Mac Jones played well because knowing that the Dolphins defense is pretty much kind of like a mirror of the Patriots defense since Brian Flores is coming from, the Bill Belichick tree and all that. So I thought he played well. He, it's unfortunate that, the fumbles Jonnu Smith fumble didn't really hurt them, but Damian Harris's fumble, that definitely hurt them and cost them the game. But I think he played well. I think he showed he can, take the team on. I hope they kind of let him throw it a little bit more, maybe start testing it downfield so defenses don't play up too much, and it'll open up more room for the running game. But I think he played well compared to, what everybody thought and his expectations and everything. There are a lot of good rookies, but he stood out.
Man, as you say that, it's bringing back bad memories. It looked like the Brady and Patriots offense, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing. I was like, oh, here we go again for another 15 years. I can just see it. I can just see it. I can see it coming. But obviously, the rookie that stood out to me was Jamar Chase, man. After his preseason, I think he had 4 drops and 1 catch in the preseason. I think he had 10 drops all of training camp. So then I think it was Pro Football Focus. No, it wasn't Pro Football Focus. It was somebody that came out and said that, he was having trouble seeing the ball because of the stripes and the ball's too big and things like that. And for me personally, I think he just showed everybody. Now I'm just saying he dropped those balls on purpose. That's what I'm going with, because I was watching that preseason game, and he played 1 possession, the last preseason game. He dropped the ball and he went to the sideline. He was way too excited. I was like, he shouldn't be this happy. You've been dropping balls all training camp, all practice, all preseason games, and then you're just happy, smiling, helmet off, having a good time. Then week 1 comes and he looks like the same guy that they drafted, out of LSU as a top 5 pick. So I think I might have to rethink my rookie of the year takes. But other than that, I think the quarterbacks looked all right. I'm not going to kill Wilson too much from the Jets because he plays for the Jets. So he's just going to have to struggle with his first year. He did look good. He did look good with Corey Davis. Trevor Lawrence threw 3 picks, but threw 3 touchdowns. I think that's going to be a common theme for the rookies this year. But all the receivers look good, man. I think for the first time ever, every first-round draft pick that plays either quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end scored, except one guy. Oh, man, them good old Dirty Birds, man. Every coach, does. Every coach put their guys in position to score. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is talented, but the Falcons just are going to Falcon, man. They took a tight end at number 4, which I would never understand. Like, we had Trey Lance and Justin Fields scored touchdowns, and they didn't even start. Like, they barely played. They played about 10 snaps apiece, and they both got touchdowns. But Kyle Pitts and those Falcons, maybe they just were going up against a very stout defense. Who knows?
I don't know. Like, my biggest thing now, I don't really know his contract situation and everything, but I remember in the offseason, I was like, look, Julio wants out, because they hadn't traded him at that point. But I was like, Julio wants out. The defense isn't where it needs to be. You're already going through a coaching change and all this kind of stuff. Just do like what the Lions did with Stafford, trade Matt Ryan, get you a draft haul, and just literally start over, start to rebuild all that. Because now you're in kind of a weird flux where Matt Ryan is older. He's still trying to win, trying to add to his legacy, but yet the team is kind of rebuilding, sort of. They're like in a hybrid rebuild. So it's gonna be kind of weird, because I would have thought, hey, you're at the number 4 pick, go ahead and trade Matt Ryan, select you a quarterback. Yes, Kyle Pitts is a great pick, but there's going to be other tight ends. There are going to be we see undrafted guys become great tight ends, great skill players. But how many times do you get a chance at, a potential great quarterback, and different things like that. So sometimes you got to weigh those options, but we'll see how it works in the long run. But I always thought they probably should have traded Matt Ryan, just completely started fresh.
That's a fact, because the value is only going to go down, the older he gets. If they could have sent him to the Bears before the draft, before they got Fields and stuff like that. There's a couple teams he could have went to, but those ships have sailed. Now, next we're going to do, who's your most surprising team, of the NFL first week?
Most surprising team. And I'm not going to say us. The reason I'm not going to say us is because the segment we just got off of, I don't know if the Falcons are a good team or if we just really played that well. So I'm gonna hold judgment on us for a little bit. But who I'm really going to say kind of surprised me was Pittsburgh. And the reason Pittsburgh surprised me is because last year, I think the game that happened with them, they would have lost, because, Ben was hurt throughout the year. The offense wasn't really, even though they went 11-0, it was always like weird 11-0s, because all the teams that they played in the beginning, I think barely any of them made the playoffs, or they all had like losing records or something like that. Like it was once they started playing competition, that's when their records started going downhill. They had a terrible playoff game against the Browns and everything. And then the start of this Bills game literally started the same way the season ended for them. But just like they said, football is not 2 segments of the game, it's 3 segments. They had that special teams play. And then the game just took off for them from there. And, TJ Watt showed up and he got his money. So that's a positive thing. I just need that offense to get a little bit better. I don't know what happened to Juju. He is not. I'm not going to say this. I will say this. Juju has proven that he is a perfect number 2 receiver, but he's not a number 1. He's not a number 1 guy. He's not a number 1 receiver.
You said perfect.
And then
what?
I think Najee will take off once the offensive line gels, because that is a new offensive line. So I think his numbers will get better throughout the year.
I honestly think Juju is one of the best in the league at doing TikToks. And that's about it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on him. My most surprising team, it was tough for me. I wanted to say the Cardinals because they looked real good. Seahawks looked good. But even the Cowboys look good. I almost put a team that lost in there. But I think I settled on the Chargers. They played the football team. It wasn't a pretty game, but every time you play Washington, I think it's gonna just be an ugly game because that defensive line is just so good. And the Chargers, they remind me of like kind of that Raiders ending of Monday night game, and then the old Cleveland Browns. Like they're just gonna blow games at the end of the game. But this time they didn't blow the game. They actually sealed the deal. Herbert to Keenan Allen looked real good. Mike Williams looked good. Their run game looked good. Defense held up. So I think they may sneak and surprise some people, looking like they're a playoff team. Obviously, they need Herbert to make a big jump this year. They got the weapons. They've always had the weapons. Honestly, it's just the Chargers, man. They always just somehow, some way, they're gonna blow it. But
I think for me, in terms of the Chargers, the biggest key is going to be Mike Williams. If he is more consistent and he can help out, when teams, throw coverage over to Keenan Allen's side, or they just double him and things like that. If he can be more consistent, because he did have a couple drops in that game,
he did.
Then I think that'll help him out tremendously. If that happens, then yeah, they'll definitely be a team to watch out for.
All right, and most disappointing team. Who are you gonna go off with that?
Well, we kind of already touched on them, but it is the Titans in a sense. Just because of the way they went out. Whether they had won or lost that game would have made them disappointed. It's just the way that they lost, because they had a terrible pass defense last year, and it looks like it did not get any better this year. Kyler Murray had his way with them. So to be honest, out of everybody, because it is week 1, just of the expectations we had, I really think that as a whole unit, the Titans were the most disappointing team.
I could agree, but I think I went with the Ravens. I went with the Ravens. I was thinking about it. I was going to go to Packers, but I mean, they played the best team in the NFL, so you can't really fault them for that one. So I ended up just going with the Ravens, man. Their tackles looked absolutely awful. Wide receivers didn't really look great. Marquise Brown had a nice couple plays in there, but I mean, his touchdown was basically all Lamar just being Houdini back there. So it's looking like it's going to be a long year for Lamar. That offensive line looks bad. They have multiple running backs, new running back. They're like on number 4, 5, 6, and 7 right now. So I think it's going to be a long year. And Lamar Jackson, if you ever see this, you probably ever won't. But if you ever see this, don't play another game without a contract, man. I love, when he became his own agent, want to do his own deal, say, I respect it. But with the way that offensive line look, you need to get that deal done, because it might be a long year. They might try to hold that over your head as a bargaining chip. So I would try to get that deal done as fast as possible, because not wishing injury on him, but man, he was taking a lot of hits there. He might get nicked up, have to miss some games, and teams are going to use that against you. So Ravens just look. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs this year, and I had them in the Super Bowl. So hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a long season.
I didn't think missing Peters were gonna hurt that much, but that rookie corner and the other corners didn't look too hot. But yeah, that's my most disappointing team, and it's probably because I had them going to the Super Bowl.
I think Packers would have been a little too easy there.
Yeah, no, that was just a little, yeah. Player of the weeks, offense and defense. Let's hear your two guys here.
This is easy. They're both on the Cardinals. Offensive player of the week is Kyler Murray. Defensive player of the week is Chandler Jones. Really, offensive player of the week could have gone to a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I just picked Kyler because he literally tore that defense apart with all kinds of crazy throws. He had his own type of Lamar type of run where he threw it to, I believe it was Christian Kirk that caught it in the middle of the field. He had the rushing touchdown along with the passing touchdowns, like whatever he wanted. And I mean, and what helps is that his receivers made plays. Like he threw it up there and they made plays. Obviously, he's got Nuke that's going to help. And then Chandler Jones, like the man had 5 sacks, 3 in the first quarter. Like I don't really think, and I think he also had 2 forced fumbles on top of that. So not really much that could happen to overcome that. So those are my offensive and defensive player of the week.
All right. Defensive player of the week, Chandler Jones. Everything you said, plus more, whatever. He got guys tweeting after the game. You're defensive player of the week. Offensive guy, Kyler Murray was up there. Jameis Winston was up there. Who else I had up there? Russell Wilson was up there. But I think I settled on Tyreek Hill. I mean, 11 catches, 198 touchdown. I mean, it's time to start. I know like speed receivers never get in that conversation for best wide receiver in the NFL because it's always the 6'3", 6'4" bigger guys that can kind of run deep and do intermediate routes and all that. But it's time to put him in that discussion for like best receiver in the NFL.
He's been that speed receiver that has actually improved. Like that's
exactly
what's been the best.
My comparison for him is like it's almost like a Steph Curry. No one wanted to put him in the best player in the NBA conversation because basically, all he does is shoot threes, which obviously does more than that. But Tyreek, he's just like a deep threat. So they're kind of in that same boat. But it's time to start putting him in that best receiver, like in the NFL conversation, because he's doing this every week. I think I won't say he makes Mahomes or Mahomes make him, but they're just a perfect marriage. I mean, they're just perfect for each other. So yeah, he got my offensive player of the week for this first week, and obviously, Chandler Jones did his thing.
I'm proud of you. I thought you were gonna go Winston there.
Yeah, I would have, but he threw for 148. That's literally the only thing that hurt Winston in the player of the week. 5 touchdowns, great, but I needed more than 148. For that, for my Saints, I'll take it every time. All right, we're gonna do something new at the end for y'all. 3 primetime games. We're gonna go over the games. We're not really go over them. We're gonna predict the games. Keep the record. Y'all can drop y'all records or who y'all think's gonna win in the comments as well. All right, first game, football team versus the Giants. I think we're probably going to be on the same page here.
I'm going football team here, and it's only because I do not trust Daniel Jones. Like he's prone to have at least one crucial turnover every game. So I'm going football team.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go football team too. That defensive line from them. I mean, they're starting Heineke, whatever the hell his name is. He's going to be the starter now, but that doesn't matter. That defense is going to carry.
He had that great throw to Terry McLaurin, so I think he'll be all right. And he hit Logan Thomas in the end zone. He played well, so he'll be all right.
I mean, it's Fitzpatrick he's replacing, so not much there. Next game, Chargers versus Cowboys. I think that's the America's game of the week. Chargers, yeah, I'm going Chargers there too.
It's gonna be a high scoring game, but I'm going Chargers.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be. Yeah, Cowboys not guarding nobody. And then the last game, Chiefs versus Ravens. Who you got there?
I'm going Chiefs.
My Super Bowl, my AFC championship right here. My AFC championship. I'm gonna
Badger be back. They already said it.
I can't have my. I'm going. You know what? I'm going Ravens, and only because I can't have my Super Bowl pick start off 0-2, or it's just gonna be bad for me. I think that's the Sunday night game. Actually, I may be missing the Monday night game. I don't know. Oh well, if I am, I am. We're just gonna have to figure it out. Cause yeah, that's Thursday. No, I'm talking about we can't miss the Monday night game. We're gonna look at that. I got it pulled up already, so it won't take too much time. But yeah, that Chiefs Ravens, I think is gonna. Hopefully, it's close. Who's that Monday night game? I don't know. Oh, Lions Packers. I guess we can throw that one in there, but that's probably why I forgot it. So yeah, the Lions Packers is the 4th game. I think we're both just gonna say Packers there and keep.
Yeah, I think that's bad for the Lions, especially with the way the Packers just play. That's gonna be a huge, revenge style game. Not revenge against the Packers, just revenge against the way that against the Lions, just revenge against the way they play. Like,
if you play daily fantasy, I promise you, get Devontae Adams and get Aaron Rodgers in daily fantasy next week because that's gonna be ugly for them. It might get real bad. I think Adams probably will have like 150 and 4 touchdowns, something insane. So. Yeah, Lions, I feel sorry for you.
And the Lions just lost their number 1 corner in Okuda. Like,
yeah, like it might get, and they gave up 41 to the 49ers. So like it's probably gonna get ugly for them. So Yeah, man, that'll wrap up this episode 2. I promise we'll have a name eventually, or I shouldn't promise that because I'm lying. Because we probably won't have a name. I'll have one before week 8. How about that? That's my deadline. Yeah, man, this episode true. Dre, any last words?
No, hopefully the Eagles go 2-0 next week. You know, it's a good start to the season, so we'll see.
And yeah, man, subscribe to that man's channel, Dre Day Media. I'll have the links in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Like this up, run these likes up. Let's get I don't know how many likes we had last time. Let's try to get to 50 this time. But hey, man, it's the Boot Tragedies, and we are out.
Deuces.